Hello, thank you for joining me. In this video, I'm going to look at 3 experiments you can do at home that prove the earth is flat. We know the earth is flat because the Bible tells us so. But for those of you who are skeptic or close-minded types that refuse to accept the overwhelming biblical evidence, I've designed some experiments you can do at home that will show you before your very eyes that the world is indeed flat and not spherical as some crazy scientists and NASA claimed. It is amazing how many people blindly believe in spherical earth without ever having seen it for themselves. I intend to change that perception and create a perpetual belief in you that the earth is not spherical but flat. Now let's look at how or what happened when you jump. Now scientists claim that earth is spherical and rotating at a speed of between 7 to 1000 miles per hour depending on your latitude. This is a very high rate of speed. You can't disprove this nonsense by simply jumping up as high as you can. Really, it is that simple. What happens when you jump? You come straight down to where you were. But if the earth were indeed spinning at such a very fast and high speed, wouldn't you land hundreds of feet away from where you were originally standing? If you were to stand in a flat bed of truck going 75 miles per hour and jump straight up, what would happen? You wouldn't fall straight down. You would fall out of the truck possibly. That is because truck move, the earth doesn't. This experiment proved the earth is fixed and doesn't move. Now the simple experiment number 2 is, since if with the earth is supposedly a sphere, it naturally comes to assume what would happen to people below the equator, like in Australia. Since they are underneath the sphere, wouldn't they fall off? This is where scientists come up with jumbo number like gravity and centrifugal force to explain away their theories. So the scientists want you to think that because the earth is so much more massive than people or things, that people will naturally stick to the bottom of the earth because of gravity. This can be disproved very simply. Get the balloon and inflate it as big as possible. It will be a spherical shape. Now take a piece of paper and try to rip or tear or cut the tiniest speck of paper possible. This paper represents a human being, such smaller in mass to the balloon, which represents the earth. Now try and place the small piece of paper to the underside of the balloon. What then happens? It falls off. That is right. Even though the balloon is so much bigger in mass, it cannot hold the tiny paper. So if the earth was a sphere, no one could live below the equator because they will fall off. Experiment number 3. Get high. Okay, this one you really can't do at home, but you can do it out in the world. Stand on the ground and look around you. What is the farthest distance you can see? Maybe it's a building, a tree, or a mountain. Now, find some place very close to it where you can get a much higher vantage point. This also works if you are on a jet and about to take off. Notice how in the higher place you can see much farther. You can see more of the world the higher you get. This shows the world is flat because the higher you go, the easier it is to see over obstacles at the same time. It shows the world cannot be spherical, because if the world was curved, the far distance will forever remain out of view because of the earth's curvature. It will eternally be over the horizon. If the earth was a sphere, it will not matter how high you went, you would still see the same thing. Since this is not the case, the earth is indeed flat. These experiments are all confirmed by creation scientists as being 100% accurate. If you are skeptical of the flat earth, why don't you do this experiment so you can see truth with your own eyes? Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to like, subscribe, and drop your comment and suggestion. Please also share this video with your friends and family. Thank you.